こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材は、サッカー日本代表に関する動画です。サッカー日本代表は9月シリーズで、メキシコとアメリカと対戦予定です。今回は代表戦のレビューやプレビューでよく扱っている、GiveEN5 のチャンネルから、メキシコ戦のプレビュー動画を扱います。オリジナルの動画ではアメリカ戦のプレビューも行っていますが、今回はメキシコ戦の部分を切り取っています。このホストの2人の話では、今のメキシコは、CONCACAF ゴールドカップでも優勝しており、守備の固さは際立っており、どのポジションでも層の厚みがあると自信をうかがわせています。一方で日本に関しては、アジアの戦いでも、守備の脆さも見え、オーストラリアやサウジアラビアには自慢の攻撃陣も鳴りを潜めた事実からも、メキシコが優位だろうと予想しています。実際にどのように話しているのか、チェックしてみましょう。
In the defensive part of the pitch, you have Vasquez and Montes, who are obviously going to start. But then fun names like Mateo Chavez, who got minutes at the Gold Cup. Westgas, who's been playing in Europe now, I believe, for Copenhagen. Yeah. That would be really cool to see. He started off the season really well. Orozco, Gallardo, Purata gets the call-up, and Jorge Sanchez as well, with Luis Malagon in goal, Rangel Moreno as backups. That's the defense from Mexico going into these friendlies.
And it's more depth. Purata's been great for Tigres, I say specifically these last 12 months. So he gets the call-up. It's deserved. And so now if any of the center backs from Mexico is out or injured, I would actually be very confident that a guy like Purata, or you could use Orozco as well, to just insert themselves into that starting position and do a good job. I'm telling you, this team is deep. Maybe not as deep as obviously the big hitters in their international scene, but when you compare them to the rest of CONCACAF, even a lot of the South American teams, Mexico has genuine depth in every single position.
Now here's what this gets really fun, because it is a good team. It's a good team. Obviously, it's not the best version without our X factor and exciting players and Gilberto Mora, but it's still a very good team. And I look at Japan, I look at South Korea. They're also really good teams as well. Both of them already secure their qualification to the World Cup and AFC qualifying. And both of them have really strong quality players that play at high level in Europe. And they come to the States to test themselves against both Mexico and the USA. I mean, I got to say, this is probably the two toughest opponents we've had since, when we faced off against Turkey a couple months ago.
And that's why I'm really excited, bro, about this international window, because this is the perfect step up from CONCACAF, right? I think it's clear now that Mexico is better than Canada and better than the USA, at least these versions of them. And so now, playing Japan and Korea, the elite teams of the Asian Confederation, I think that's the next best step you can take. I still think South America boasts tougher competition, and Europe definitely boasts tougher competition. So if we're taking baby steps here, Asia's best is the next best step that CONCACAF can take. So when I look at Mexico, we've conquered CONCACAF at this point. We're clearly better than Canada and USA. Now, looking at the opponents of Japan and South Korea, here's the thing, bro. I actually expect Mexico to win these games. And I do think that they can. And we can analyze Japan and Korea. I really do want to. But just the surface level statement here, I expect Mexico to win both games.
I don't think Japan could do it on a sunny day in Oakland.
I don't think so.
I don't think they can do it in Oakland, man. That's a tough place to play. Apparently, the Mexican national team got robbed there today.
God damn it. Damn.
Balls were stolen. Flags, cones, and shirts got stolen. Oakland, baby. I don't think Japan can do it. I don't. So I actually am in agreement with you. I am. The fan base is obviously going to be in favor for Mexico. The momentum is very good for Mexico at this moment. And if they can continue performing with that base, with that foundation of really good defense, I think we can get a goal against the Japanese team, whose defense hasn't been as good as I had hoped it would be, having seen them in Asian World Cup qualifying. And yeah, I really think it'll come down to that factor itself, because Japan does have a good offense, but I don't know. I don't see them breaking Mexico right now in the shape and form that they're in. I have Mexico winning that matchup.
No, exactly. The problem with Japan right now, their defense is still shaky. It's been a problem since the AFC Asian Cup, and it's not something that they fix. They also were in objectively the easiest group of World Cup qualifying, in my opinion. They didn't really get tested, and when they did face a defensive team like Australia and Saudi Arabia, they struggled. Their offense really struggled to break them down. Mexico's defense is certainly on par with Australia and Saudi Arabia's defense. So I see Japan having the same offensive struggles. And then when you just look at Japan individually speaking, yes, they have absolute talent. For example, Mitoma, Minamino, Takefusa Kubo, for example. The problem is that they don't really translate a lot of their club success to the international team right now. The potential is there for Japan, and if you're a Japanese fan, that's what you're hoping, that they themselves figure it out over these next 12 months leading up to the World Cup. But right now, the Japanese offense isn't clicking the way you think it would on paper. And I think that's only going to benefit Mexico, as they're very defensive and are very clinical with Raul Jimenez up top.
This is a good test, though, for Japan. I mean, they've been facing off against pretty weak opposition in Asia at the end of the day. If they can beat Mexico here in U.S. territory, that's a step forward for their narrative and what they've been trying to achieve. I just see Mexico, with the shape they're in right now, being able to, at the very least, pull off a tie or get the victory. That South Korea matchup, I kind of envision the same way, because I really see South Korea maybe just a couple steps below Japan at this moment, with really good players, really big names. But I'm still missing the cohesive, the chemistry factor to really max themselves out the way that I would hope.
Absolutely. When looking at Korea's offense, I'd say is actually a little bit more clinical than Japan's right now, specifically because Lee Kang-in, when he puts on that Korean jersey, he's actually showing up. You still have the veteran presence of Seon Heung-min as well. Lee Jae-sung has been dishing balls out in the Bundesliga for the past decade now. He does it at this level for Korea. But again, the defensive midfield and the defensive line for Korea is very shaky. It's getting exposed against teams like Palestine and Oman on a pretty consistent basis. Mexico's offense can definitely get a couple of goals against this Korean defense, and that's ultimately why I see Mexico beating Korea.
Score predictions here for both games. I'm going Japan. Mexico wins 2-1. South Korea 1-0. Yeah, those are my two predictions for those matches. What are yours?
I'll go tight in the game against Japan, maybe 1-0, something like that. And against Korea, I don't know, maybe 2-1, 3-2, something like that.
What player is this September window most important for that plays for Mexico?
I'm actually going to say Lozano. I just think his reinsertion to the team, it's been a long time coming. Every time it seems like he was going to come back, he would get a little injury that would keep him out. But now he's actually back. And he's not just back by name. You already stated. He's back because of his form with San Diego right now. So to see that translated to the national team, again, it's only going to add to the depth and the offense that this Mexico team needs and has been building up to. So to see Chucky back, I think it's amazing. To see him actually have an impact, though, that'd be crazy. And again, it's just adding to this team. If Lozano pops off right now, Mexico's just going to get better and better.
That would be awesome. Like, I really do feel like a lot of the fan base gave up on Lozano back probably like around like 2021, 2022. Because after what he did at 2018, God, he had the world in his hands, man. He had so much going for him, and it just kind of slowly was a bit of a downfall for him in terms of playing up to the level that he showcased against Germany. He never really was able to get back to that level until ultimately he stopped receiving the call-up. But coming to the MLS and being healthy, that's the biggest thing. Being healthy, I think, has been great for Chucky. And he's still not old, bro. He still could very much be in his prime going into the next World Cup here in the States. You're right. If he can play really well and start to secure a call-up, start to secure a roster spot in this team, that's a huge piece, bro. A huge X factor that I don't think anyone really thought we would have in 2026. I would say the name, though. Alongside Chucky, I'm going to go Marcel Ruiz. Marcel Ruiz, with what he did at the Gold Cup, I would like to see him back that. Against tougher opponents in Japan and South Korea, where the midfield play will be very, very important. The narrative from Marcel Ruiz has been very exciting as of late in regards to where he wants to go play his football next, winning the Liga MX title with Toluca and now playing for the national team. I just want to see him rinse and repeat against tougher opposition and really solidify that midfield spot for himself.
It's a great point, and it's something I'll be looking for too. If I expand it just a little bit, I want to see how the Mexican midfield does against, and actually, in my opinion, better midfields that Korea and Japan both possess. Because when you looked at the Gold Cup performances, even in the final against the USA, Mexico had the better midfield. And it was always very clear. But now, against Japan and South Korea, I see it, at the very least, even if not, giving the edge to their Asian oppositions. So now I want to see how are Alvarez Ruiz really going to pair up together to try and combat whatever is thrown at them. It's going to be very interesting to watch. So let's see how they do.
Let's see how they do. Folks, submit your score predictions down below. Let me know what you think the Mexican national team will do against Japan and South Korea.
次は解説です。 今回は基本的なボキャブラリーや表現ながら便利でもあり大事なものがいくつかありましたので、いくつかピックアップして解説しています。早速、本日の解説をチェックしてみましょ
う。Mexico's defense is certainly on par with
on par with は何かと比較して同じレベル質価値であると言いたいときに使う表現です。スポーツ、ビジネス、教育など幅広い分野で使われる汎用性の高い表現です。例えば、彼の英語力はネイティブと同等ですと言いたい場合などで使えます。同じくらい優れているだけでなく、同じくらい悪いという場合にも使えます。トイックや英検などのリーディング問題やパラフレーズでも品質し、使いこなせると比較表現がぐっと自然になります。
Mexico's defense is certainly on par. Mexico's defense is certainly on par with
being able to, at the very least, pull off a tie or get the victory.
プルオフは難しいことを成功させるというとても便利な駆動詞です。例えば、プルオフはビクトリーは勝利をもぎ取る。プルオフはトリックはトリックをうまく成功させるといった感じです。直訳すると、引っ張って外すような意味にもなりますが、イディオムとして使われるときは、見事にやり遂げるという意味になります。特にスポーツ、ビジネス、試験など、難しそうなことを意外と成功させたときなどによく使われます。サクシードよりも、カジュアルでリアルな印象を与える言葉です。友達や同僚と話すときに使うと、ナチュラルな英語になります。
Being able to, at the very least, pull off a tie or get the victory. Being able to, at the very least, pull off a tie or get the victory. I kind of envision the same way.
インビジョンは将来の姿を思い浮かべるという意味を持つややフォーマルな単語です。イマジンと似ていますが、インビジョンはより具体的で現実的な未来のビジョンに使われます。ビジネスのプレゼンや政策提言、目標設定などでよく使われ、私はこうなることを思い描いていると言いたいときに便利です。建築や都市開発、人生設計などでよく登場する語です。丁寧で説得力のある表現を目指す人におすすめの単語です。
I kind of envision the same way. I kind of envision the same way. I just want to see him rinse and repeat against tougher opposition.
リンス&リピートは、もともとシャンプーのボトルの裏に書いてある使い方の表現から来たもので、すすいで、もう一度洗うを意味します。そこから転じて、うまくいった方法を繰り返すや、ルーチンワークを反復するという意味で使われます。特にビジネスやスポーツ、ゲーム、マーケティングなどで、再現性のある成功パターンを指すときに使われます。皮肉っぽく、マンネリな繰り返しとして使われることもあります。フォーマルな場面では避けるべきですが、カジュアルな会話では非常に便利な表現です。ガタにはまった成功法や、とりあえず同じことやっとけという感じです。
I just want to see him rinse and repeat against tougher opposition. I just want to see him rinse and repeat against tougher opposition.
even if not giving the edge to their Asian oppositions.
ギブザエッジは、誰かや何かを一歩有利にするや、優位に立たせるという意味を持つ表現です。日常会話だけでなく、ビジネスやスポーツ、学業など、あらゆる競争の場面で使われます。エッジは、バーや先端という意味から転じて、他より優れたポイントという意味で使われています。競り合いの中で、どちらが上回るかという微妙な差を表現するのにぴったりの言い回しです。
even if not giving the edge to their Asian oppositions. Even if not giving the edge to their Asian oppositions.
いかがでしたか？全体的には、メキシコよりも日本の方が強いという意見が、メキシコでも多そうには感じていましたが、この二人の話を聞くと、メキシコは大陸のトーナメントも制し、状態も良さそうで、控えメンバーもかなり良いと考えているようで、あえて言えば、中盤が不安だということでした。日本のスカットだけ見れば、間違いなくメキシコよりも良いと言えるものだと思いますが、実際の直近の結果や試合の内容を見れば、特にオーストラリアやサウジアラビアとの戦いを見れば、日本が必ずしも盤石である、という風には見えないということでしょう。実際に、そういう強いとされる相手に、どれだけやれるかが本当の評価でしょうし、まさにメキシコ戦やアメリカ戦が、そういう戦いになっていくでしょうし、ここで結果が出せるか、良い内容の試合ができるか、相手を圧倒できるか、相手に良いプレーをさせないか、が大きく評価されるものだろうと思います。個人的には、課題や不安が生まれるような敗戦も、本番に向けては良いものだと思っていますが、メキシコやアメリカを圧倒し、アギーレやポチェッティーノの解任論が出る展開を想像すると、スペイン戦やドイツ戦のような衝撃を、また感じられたら良いなと期待してしまいます。実際には、特にメキシコ戦は、かなりタフな、激しい、拮抗した試合になるとは思いますので、いずれにしても、 そういう試合を楽しみにしたいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。